Hey everybody, Sam Kouvaris in the Nimnicht Buick GMC video sports update. So the Jaguars draft had 9 players eventually, which is certainly less than the 12 or 14 that Dave Caldwell told us he thought would be an ideal situation. But, you know, they got players that they didn't think that they were going to be able to get. In fact, of the 9 players they got, every one of them was one of the 30, which is the maximum, that they brought to town that they interviewed. As Gus Bradley said, boy, there were guys going off the board and I didn't really know much about them. But the guys that we got, I know something about all these guys. Yes, some of our projects, whether it's Blake Bortles, kind of deferred to play to 2015, or Colvin, who's probably not going to be ready this year, and if so, not till late November or December. But there will be guys who will go ahead and compete at the offensive center position, offensive guard position, guys at wide receiver. I mean, this and other guys that they drafted are going to be expected to compete for spots, at least on special teams, to start the season here in 2014. You can only draft like this and you can only build like this when you have explained to the owner that you're not going to win. And the Jaguars are not going to win the Super Bowl again this year. They're going to try and struggle to be a 500 team, but they are, as Caldwell said, upgrading team speed, upgrading team talent, and upgrading their culture to what Gus Bradley wants in a football team. And if you listen to Blake Bortles, it's exactly what he talked about. Guys who want to get better, guys who want to compete, guys who want to be here, guys who like the idea of building something. And yes, they will expect to be competitive in 2015, but once again this year, it's still going to be a learning process. And the Jaguars maybe will surprise a few people, and like they have in the past, win a couple they shouldn't have and lose a couple they shouldn't have. But if they get to be a 6-10 or an 8-8 team, then that's going to be considered a significant improvement over last year. Next thing, of course, the rookie minicamp coming up this Friday and Saturday. They're both open to the public, and we'll have more on that as the week goes on. Meanwhile, the Players is over, and Martin Keimer ends up winning in fairly dramatic fashion. The putt that he made on 17, I hope you got to see it from the angle that was behind him, because from 37 feet, and it had about a 4 or 5 foot break in it. I mean, you could say it was a little bit luck, but he actually said he practiced that putt a few times during the practice rounds, knowing that he was going to try to knock the ball in the middle of the green on 17 on Sunday. He did so with his second shot and ended up making par, and then making par on 18 to beat Jim Furyk for a shot, by a shot, and win the title. You know, this is a lot of people were rooting for Spieth because he's an American, and Keimer thanked people for being so fair in their fan actions during the week. And a lot of people were rooting for Furyk as the hometown guy. And that all would have been great. But I can tell you, Keimer is just a phenomenal player and a tremendous person. You could really see that in how he conducted himself, the things that he said, so eloquent for someone who really, I mean, English might be his 4th language. So congratulations to Keimer, and certainly Matt Rapp and Tim Fincham as the Players comes off as, once again, perhaps one of the finest sporting events in the entire world. I'm Sam Kouvaris, and that's the Buick GMC Nimnicht Video Sports Update.